Ever felt like doing the right thing was the worst mistake of your life? Meet Jaden, a single dad who'd move mountains for his 6-year-old daughter, Mila. His world is small but full of love, just the two of them against everything. He works as a janitor, a tough job, but every drop of sweat is for her smile, for her future. One rainy night, the quiet world is shattered. Riding the last subway home, bone-tired and dreaming of tucking Mila into bed, chaos erupts. A woman, heavily pregnant, crumples to the floor. Contractions rack her body. She's in labor. Right there on the filthy train car floor. And what does everyone else do? They pull out their phones, they record, they stare, but not Jaden. He can't just stand by. Pushing through the crowd of onlookers, he kneels beside her. His heart pounds, but his instincts take over. He's seen this once before, with Mila. He coaches her breathing, holds her hand, and in a blur of panic and determination, helps deliver a baby boy into the world. The train screeches to a halt. Paramedics are on their way. As the new mother fades in and out of consciousness, she grabs Jaden's arm. Her eyes are wide with terror. "Please," she gasps, her voice barely a whisper. "Don't let him find me." Her hand presses something cold and metallic into his palm. It's a silver key. A small tag attached to it with the number 1 to F scratched on its surface. Before Jaden can ask her name, or what she means, the paramedics rush in and whisk her and the newborn away. The doors slide shut, leaving Jaden alone on the platform, holding a stranger's secret. His hands still shaking, he stumbles home, the adrenaline wearing off, replaced by a strange mix of shock and pride. He saved a life tonight. 2 lives, really. He checks on Mila, sleeping soundly, her little chest rising and falling. He kisses her forehead, whispering how much he loves her. He's her hero, and tonight, he feels like he might actually deserve the title. He falls into a restless sleep, the woman's terrified face and the mysterious key haunting his dreams. The next morning, the sun streams through the window, but the apartment is eerily quiet. Too quiet. "Mila, time for school." Sleepyhead, Jaden calls out, walking to her room, but her bed is empty. The covers are neatly folded. Her school uniform hangs on the chair, and touched, panic, cold and sharp, seizes him. He calls her name again, louder this time, his voice cracking. He searches the tiny apartment, his heart hammering against his ribs. Then he sees it. On the floor, by her bed, drawn in her favorite purple crayon, are 4 words that stop his world from spinning. "Sorry, Daddy. I had to go." His world implodes. He calls the police, his words tumbling out in a frantic, incoherent stream. But to them, he's just another distraught parent, another statistic. They ask questions, fill out forms, but their eyes are filled with a weary skepticism. Maybe she's with a friend. "Did you have a fight?" they ask. They don't see the terror. They don't see the gaping hole that has opened up in his life. He pleads with his neighbors, but no one saw anything. No one heard a thing. It's like his daughter, his entire world, just vanished into thin air. Jaden is drowning. The police are no help. His friends can only offer empty words of comfort. He's alone, utterly and completely alone. The crayon message plays over and over in his mind. "I had to go. It wasn't a choice. She was taken. But by whom, and why?" His mind races back to the night before, the subway, the birth, the woman's desperate plea. "Don't let him find me." Could it be connected? Was he followed? Did his one act of kindness lead this darkness to his door? The thought is paralyzing, but it's also the only thread he has. He pulls the silver key from his pocket. Point 1 to F. It's more than just a clue. It's his only hope. He knows he can't trust the police. He can't trust anyone. This is his fight now. He looks at the crayon drawing again, the childish letters a brutal contrast to the horror they represent. He has to find her. He has to understand what "I had to go" means. This isn't just about a missing child anymore. It's about a father who will tear the city apart, piece by piece, to get his daughter back. Jaden is just a janitor, an ordinary man, but a father's love can make him do extraordinary and terrifying things. His hunt begins now, with a single key and a promise to his little girl. No matter what it takes, Daddy is coming. Single dad Jaden was just trying to get through another day with his little girl, Mila. Their life wasn't glamorous, but it was theirs. On a packed subway, he noticed a pregnant woman struggling. She was sweating pale and clearly in distress. Jaden, being the good guy he is, rushed to her side, helped her off the train, and stayed with her until the ambulance arrived. He even delivered the baby right there on the platform, a true hero in a chaotic city. He felt good, like he'd done the right thing. He went home, tucked Mila into bed, and thought the crazy day was over. But when he woke up the next morning, his world shattered. Mila was gone. Vanished without a trace. The only thing left was her favorite teddy bear on an empty bed. Panic set in. He called the police, but with no signs of forced entry, they were skeptical. Jaden was a mess, his mind racing. Where could she be? Who would take his daughter? He dragged himself to work, his heart a gaping wound. And that's when he saw her. The pregnant woman from the subway. Only now, she wasn't the disheveled, frantic person he'd helped. She was Celeste Rowan, impeccably dressed, flanked by security, holding a newborn in a carrier that probably cost more than his car. She looked right at him, her expression cold. Jaden's confusion turned to white-hot rage. He stormed up to her, ignoring the bodyguards. "Where is my daughter?" he roared, the question ripping from his throat. Celeste's composure finally cracked. "They took her," she whispered, her voice trembling. She explained that her husband, the infamous billionaire CEO Damian Rowan, had taken Mila. Why? Because Jaden had become a loose end. He'd witnessed something he wasn't supposed to, and now, his daughter was the price. Celeste pulled him into an empty office, her story tumbling out. She wasn't just a rich man's wife, she was a prisoner. She had been running from Damian that day on the subway. And the reason for everything, the dark secret that tied them all together, was horrifying. She showed him a hidden digital ledger, linked to Damian's vast network of so-called charities. It wasn't a list of donations. It was a list of children. Names, ages, photos, listed like inventory. Next to many of them was a single, chilling word: replacement. Celeste explained that years ago, Damian's first and only son had died in a tragic accident, a secret he buried from the world. Since then, he'd been obsessed with maintaining the illusion of a perfect family. He wasn't just grieving, he was replacing his lost son over and over again, using his immense power to steal children who resembled him. And Mila, sweet, innocent Mila, with her bright eyes and dark curls, was his latest selection. Jaden's blood ran cold. This wasn't a random kidnapping. It was a calculated, monstrous act. Celeste then dropped another bombshell. Their meeting on the subway wasn't an accident. She had seen Jaden and Mila before. On her carefully planned escape routes, she chose him because he seemed like an ordinary guy. An invisible person who could be a witness without attracting Damian's attention. She needed someone to help expose her husband, but she never imagined Damian would retaliate so quickly and so cruelly by taking Mila. Just as the weight of this conspiracy was crushing Jaden, the office door swung open. In walked Damian Rowan himself, smiling like a benevolent saint, his eyes holding a terrifying emptiness. He radiated power and control. He looked at Jaden not with anger, but with something far more sinister: pity. "Mr. Evans," Damian said, his voice smooth as silk. "I understand you've had a difficult day." He offered Jaden everything a desperate man could want: a promotion, a huge sum of money, a new life far away from all this. Then, he slid a document across the polished desk. It was a custody agreement, signing away all of Jaden's parental rights to Mila. "Sign this," Damian said, his smile never wavering, "and you can see her. You can even visit. She'll have the best of everything. A life you could never provide." For a split second, Jaden hesitated. He could have a life of ease, and Milo would be safe, even if she wasn't with him. But then he looked into the eyes of the man who saw his daughter as a replacement part, and all he felt was pure, unadulterated hatred. Never, Jaden spat. He grabbed the heavy pen and, instead of signing, jammed it into Damien's hand, creating a distraction as he bolted from the room. Before they had met, Celeste had slipped him a keycard, a master key to floor 12F. He sprinted for the elevator, Damien's security shouting behind him. He knew what he was looking for. Celeste had told him about a hidden safe room, a place where she had stored years of evidence against her husband. Jaden found the room, a high-tech vault hidden behind a bookshelf. Inside was the jackpot, backup drives of the ledger, secret audio recordings of Damien's criminal dealings, and files detailing the entire child replacement network. It was everything he needed to burn Damien's empire to the ground. With his heart pounding, Jaden began uploading everything. He sent the files to every major news outlet and a special investigative unit Celeste had told him about. As the data streamed out into the world, the building's alarm systems blared. He was trapped, and Damien knew exactly where he was. A frantic chase began through the glass and steel tower. Damien's security was everywhere, but Jaden was fueled by a father's desperate love. He dodged and weaved through office floors, using his knowledge as a lowly IT guy to his advantage, overriding keycard systems and creating diversions. He had to find Mila. Celeste had told him Damien created a playroom for his replacement children, a gilded cage to condition them. Jaden found it on the penthouse level. The room was a twisted fantasy, filled with the most expensive toys imaginable. And there, in the middle of it all, was Mila. A woman was softly telling her a story about how her daddy didn't want her anymore and had sent her away to a new, better family. Jaden's heart broke. He burst into the room, and Mila's face lit up. "Daddy," she cried, running into his arms. He held her tight, whispering, "I'm here. I'm never leaving you." Just as he scooped her up, Damien's guards burst in. But it was too late. Sirens wailed from the streets below. Police and federal agents were swarming the building. Jaden, holding Mila, walked right past the stunned guards and headed for the lobby. As he stepped out of the elevator, he saw it. Damien Rowan, the untouchable billionaire, being led away in handcuffs, his mask of composure finally shattered in a flash of camera lights. It was over. Justice had been served. But there was one last, bitter twist. As Damien was taken away, Jaden saw another set of officers approaching Celeste. They cuffed her, too. Confused, he watched as she broke down, sobbing. An agent showed him the ledger. Celeste's signature was on several pages, under the approval column. Through her tears, she admitted the awful truth. She had signed off on some of the kidnappings, but only for children who were already taken. By approving them, she could track them within Damien's system and try to keep them safe, trading her own soul to protect them. She had sacrificed her freedom in a desperate attempt to do some good within an evil system. Jaden stood there, holding his daughter, the noise of the city fading around him. He had won. He had his daughter back. But the victory felt hollow. He looked up at the glittering skyscraper that had been Damien's throne. The real monster wasn't some stranger lurking in the dark shadows of the subway. The monster wore a suit, owned the city, and hid in plain sight, right above their heads. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more.